So hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Welcome back to the channel. Important video today. Let me tell you right now, if it gets to a point where I start to make you mad or offend you, you need to turn off the video, unsubscribe, and carry on, okay? Because I'm absolutely going to speak my mind here as best that I can. I am going to try to choose my words wisely, but I am going to speak my mind. And this is something that needs to be said. I think that I have been blessed with a platform. God hasn't given me this voice and this platform for me to sit around and twiddle my thumbs. I don't feel so. And if you are blessed in different ways where you can make a difference somehow, then you should too, right? That's what we're supposed to do. So if you know me, or if you have been to my conferences in the past, or if you have watched my channel for any amount of time, you know that I'm a big history buff. You know that I'm big into genealogy. I love to be a part of historical reenactments when and how I can, even if I just go and I'm filming and I'm hanging out, okay? This is something that I love, okay? Always have. And I will tell you, I heard a reenactor, one of the best historians actually in the country, say one time that if there was ever a breakdown in this country, the people that would survive first are the true hardcore historians and reenactors, because they're the ones that understand what's going on better than anybody else typically. And also with that, they typically have a whole lot of skill sets. They are teachers, they have been in military, and if you can live primitively 18th century and understand how our people, my ancestors and your ancestors, survived that time period, then the chances of you being able to your chances are a little bit better than everyone else's. And I will tell you, as I've gotten older and the more I've learned and shared, that I believe that's got a lot of validity to it, for real. So here's the deal. I have a video coming up, probably after this one or tomorrow, not sure. By the way, tomorrow's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. I just got back from Martin Station. If you've never been there, historically, it's been phenomenal to learn about the frontier, to learn about American history, to learn about the Cumberland Gap area, and to understand what all our frontiersmen went through in order to push into establishing this country, okay? I have videos on it. I have videos on a lot of different places, and I want to tell you right now that if you want to learn about history, and you want your children and grandchildren to really, truly get an understanding of this type of lifestyle and true American history, it's going to be harder and harder and harder for you to actually get that education and to find that education at your local or state parks, even a lot of your museums and different places. Now, I'm not saying to not support these places, and I'm not saying to totally give up, but I am letting you in on what's going on. Basically, folks, I'm just going to say it right here and right now, just like everything else that's being attempted in front of your face at your churches, at your schools, in your local government, all the way to the top. This country and us, the people, we are being gutted and castrated. That's right. They don't want you to know your history. Let me tell you something right now. I will sit here and tell you, you can clearly tell. This is going to be a little controversial, but we're going to go for it. Yeah, I am, you'd call me a white woman. I am a white woman, but I'm a mixed-blooded woman. Just like so many of you out there, so many Americans, we are mixed-blooded people. Many of us are. Depending upon what region you are from, you're going to be a different combination usually than other people in other places. You need to know what happened at every turn, historically, to all of your people. Lying to you about it, not displaying what happened, is not doing you or your children or the American people any justice. If I had a child that was in school and I knew that an over-mountain man or a gentleman who knew all of the 18th century skills was coming to teach my child, I want him to come in full gear. I want him to talk about the trials and on the frontier. I want him to be able to actively display everything that a frontiersman or a long hunter or whatever would, not only what they would have worn, but what they would have eaten, how they would have done that, but most importantly, how they would have survived. And that would have been through, let's say it, a lot of very distinct tools and weaponry, and that would have also been achieved through warfare. You're being lied to. When you go to historical reenactments and the only thing that you can achieve is learning how to cook biscuits in a Dutch oven, folks, those people have been held back one way or another at this point by not being able to show you everything that was real during that time period. And that is what's going on. Okay? They are canceling events on people. And even if you have events still going on, what you would have seen at events, say, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but I know for a fact in 2018 and 2019, the differences that you would have seen are astounding compared to what you will most likely, maybe it's not happening in your area yet, but it certainly is happening here. See, here in East Tennessee, this area, this region of Appalachia, Southern Virginia, up into Kentucky, here in East Tennessee, we are the original frontier, and it was bloody hell. It was bloody hell for everybody. Your children need to know that. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go somewhere. Clearly, it would never be the same in terms of reenactment of what actually did happen. But why do we not want to talk about and show our young men and women the truth in history? You know why? Because that in itself gives you a sense of overwhelming pride, because your people, one way or another, one color or another, they made it. Do you know how big of a miracle that is for me and you to be standing here right now? I have history in this country for hundreds and hundreds of years. Many of you do too. Whether you came from Northern Ireland, whether you came over from Germany, whether you are indigenous, whatever. Maybe you come from a past with a slave. You know, things like this are what we are. This is why we are the ultimate melting pot. I am not going to stand around and tell you that I agree with a lot of things that happened historically, but what I do know is all of these things brought us to this point. Every country, every region, all across the world, all through history, has all of these scars. Do not be deceived. They do. We can go over this right now if we need to, but I don't think that's necessary. But when they start canceling events, when they start telling historians and true reenactors, I'm talking about people that have been doing this for 30, 40, 50 years. If you were in a survival situation and you had to hit the road up in the mountain, these are the people that you want to be with. And they're not allowed to fully educate with all of the resources that they have been doing and showing and exhibiting in the past. Why? I'll tell you why. They don't want you to know your history. They don't want your children to know your history. They want you to roll over. When you go to a state park and you find out that there has been basically a brouhaha over just the idea of being able to have a wreath ceremony that's been going on for years and years and years, and now suddenly it's a problem, folks, we got a real problem on our hands. Now, again, I'm not telling you to not go to things. I'm not telling you every single one is going to be a problem, but I think it's fair at this time for you to understand that all of these things that you're seeing aren't just happening with your beer. They're not just happening at your schools. They're not just happening at the county building or wherever. And you see these things, they make you mad. You sound off on Facebook, I'm not going to buy this and I'm not going to do that, la, 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 la. And then you come home and you live your life. What I'm telling you is you are right now, you have been actually probably for a lot longer than we know. This has been brewing for a while. This is why people tell you to gather your resources and to get hard copies of books, get hard copies of the Bible, get hard copies of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, because they're changing things in front of your face. And the sad thing is a lot of people don't recognize it. If you are just now starting to go to certain places, you think it's great. You learned something today. That's a good thing. Okay? But the difference between today versus what you would have seen 5 years ago is astounding. I want to know what happened on the frontier. I want to know as best I can what my ancestors and my grandfathers fought for and fought against. They fought against the Cherokee, and ironically, same men lived next to Cherokee. And do you know, a couple of generations later, they intermarried with the Cherokee. Here I am. This is the history of a lot of people, particularly in this region. And I'm not ashamed of it. You shouldn't be either. Stop lying to people. Stop not sharing with people. Stop trying to stop the last shred of history that's being taught in this country. Because I said for a long time, I'm like, you got to go to history. I said for years, go to history sites, go to reenactments, go support these people. And I agree with that. But they're being gutted. And you know what's causing, you know what else that is causing or leading to? What's happening is now they're not participating anymore. I want you to watch. For you people that go to a lot of reenactments, I want you to start paying attention to, wow, they're not going to have this anymore. Wow, they canceled that. Wow, you can't even have a trade fair anymore. Wow, you can't even do this anymore. Wow, you're just walking around looking at things. That's good and pleasant, but is it the same? And I contend, and I tell you right now, they're not. This isn't new. I just haven't said anything. You have got to be praying for our nation. And I am telling you right now, if you and your family want to learn about true American history, you better be doing everything you can already to be lining up as many resources on your own that you can. You're going to have to do the legwork because the knees are being kicked out from underneath all of these wonderful resources that have been there for us for so long. It's a shame. It's a total shame. I mean, it honestly, you know, we planned a day trip to go to certain things from time to time for a day. It's a lot of work on my part to do that, and I love it, and it's worth it to me because I love this so much. But I can tell you, the events that I used to never miss, now it's almost like I sit back and go, why? Why go? A lot of people are truly having this dilemma. Those that have been doing it, he thinks this is important. He wants you to know, don't you? These people that have been living this life to teach young children, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of children every single year, guys, essentially, they're basically being told, shut up. That's not going over very well. Pray for these people. They spend a lot of time, they spend a lot of money, and they spend a lot of energy to teach and to share. And they're being gutted. And the country is being castrated. We need to understand what the men, especially, all men, all time periods, gave for me and you to stand here and have a conversation on YouTube. It wouldn't be possible had they not done all that they did and all that they went through. Wrong, right, indifferent against each other. You're looking at a girl, totally mixed-blooded woman here. You're looking at a woman who had grandfathers literally fighting each other. We all share these similar stories. We need to uphold them because this is why we are here today. And that determination and those guts and that American pride for all of us is the only thing left next to God that is going to see us through all this crap that we are in right now. Our ancestors went through the same type of crap one way or another, and they didn't stand for it, right? So understand, if you want to know real history at this point, you have a lot of legwork that you're going to have to do, just like preparing your pantry, just like paying off your own debts, just like reshaping your life to this new world that we're in. But if you want to carry the torch of history, it is all on you, Mom. I'm going to have a good video coming up at Martin Station. We were there all day today. I love going up there. We saw a lot of good friends, and I like to support them. I love to be there with them, and I feel bad for them because they are not being able to say and do and demonstrate. There and many other places, here even in the state of Tennessee, we have a contagion that has entered into not just our government, not just in the minds of wicked people, wow, but it has spread, and I'm letting you know. The tentacles have reached everything. You have to know this now. Do something about it. Be peaceful, pray and prep. And like I've said, Mom and Dad, especially if you are homeschooling, you really need to up all of your U.S. history, state history and U.S. histories with your kids. And make sure that you have hard copies of all the resources that you are using, and keep them. Don't sell them. Don't pass them to someone else outside of your family. You keep them safe. The future generations are depending on it. Like, subscribe, and share. I hope you hung with me through this video. I hope you heard all that I said and what I mean here. I'm heartbroken. I'm frustrated. And we have been since, well, we really saw a lot of this coming on. We did. It's been going on apparently longer than I've known. But for the last year, it has really set in. Beware.